Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be looking at a new wireless microphone, and this is the M9 from Fifine. So in this video, I'm going to do a product unboxing, then I'm going to do a brief little overview of each component of the microphone, and then after that, I'm going to set everything up and see how this microphone sounds plugged into my phone. So other than that, let's begin. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is go over everything that comes inside the box. So this is the box the microphones are packed in. So here's what the front of the box looks like, and here's what the back of the box looks like. So let's open it up. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. So the first thing you get out of here is the user manual, which I won't really reference at all. And then there's this case, which I'm assuming has everything within it. And this is actually a really nice case. So let me get all this stuff out of the way. All right, let me unzipper this. And oh, there we go. That's pretty nice. So here are the microphones. They're inside this case right here. So you get 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. So let me close that up. Then you get 2 furry windscreens. You get your charging cable to charge the case, and it's a USB Type-C to a USB Type-A. And the last thing in the box are these cables, and these are what you would use to connect to your phone. And these are TRS cables, so this is a 3.5mm to 3.5mm. And my phone does not have a headphone jack, so this will not really work for me. The one I'm probably going to be using is this one right here, which is a 3.5mm to USB Type-C. I had to buy some adapters to pretty much convert this USB Type-C to a Lightning port so I can use it with my iPhone, and I hope it works. And then the last cable is one that would be used for a camera, which is 3.5mm to 3.5mm. And that is pretty much everything that came in the case. Okay, so now I'm going to briefly go over each component of the microphone, starting with the charging case. So on the front right here, you have some little LED indicator lights, and right now they're not lit up. If you open the lid, they should light up. And the more dots you have, the more charged it is. Right now it's fully charged, so I'm just going to close that. And then on the back is the charging port. It's a USB Type-C, and you just plug that in there. So this takes about 2 to 3 hours to fully charge. And then the transmitter and the receiver can charge in this case in about an hour and a half, which is fairly quick. And then this case can charge each of the components in there up to 3 times. So here is the transmitter, and the transmitter gets about 5 to 6 hours of battery life. And then you're also able to take this transmitter about 165 feet away from the receiver and still be able to get good audio connection with whatever device you're using. So starting on the top is where the microphone is, and you can kind of see that right there, that little silver piece. And then there's also a little groove right there, and that's where you would insert the windscreen and kind of twist it and lock it into position. You have 2 little LED indicator lights on the top. The blue one that's flashing is pretty much the connect light. And once it's connected to the receiver, it will turn to a solid blue. And then the one right next to it is a green LED indicator light, and that's pretty much the charge light, and then I believe it turns red once the battery is low. So on this side of the transmitter, you have your power button. If you were to hold this button down for 3 seconds, it would power off. If you hold it down for 3 more, it'll power back on. And this is also your mute button, so if you were to need to mute yourself, you just tap it once, you get your little red LED indicator light saying it's muted, and then to mute it, you just do a quick press again, and it's unmuted. On this side of the transmitter, you have a link button, so if you're having problems linking it up to the receiver, there's a button on there. You pretty much pair it up to it. And then the button down here is the noise cancellation button. If you hit this, you get a little white LED indicator light to pretty much show that it's active. So down on the bottom of the transmitter are the posts to where it would connect to inside the case. Let's see if I can see that. There's little prongs in there that would pretty much connect to that and to charge the transmitter. And then there's also a USB Type-C port in the middle. So if you need to charge this while using it, say by like a power brick like I have there, if you were to plug this in, you can see by the little green little indicator light that means it's charging. Then the last thing on the transmitter is the clip right here, and this is what you would clip it onto your clothing with. So here is the receiver, and the receiver gets about 12 hours of battery life, which is really good. And then on the top right here is pretty much to show if it's connected to the transmitters or not. Right now it's trying to link up, so if I were to pull one of these out, it should turn solid saying it is pretty much linked up to the transmitter, as you can see right there. So on this side of the receiver, you have your power button, and it's the same concept as the transmitters. You just hold it down for 3 seconds to power it off, hold it down for 3 more to power it back on. Then you also get your volume controls. So this controls transmitter A, this one controls transmitter B, and you get 3 different levels of volume. Right now it's on the lowest, so you get low, medium, and high. So on the bottom of the receiver, it's pretty much the same thing as pretty much the transmitters. You get the same connections and you get a USB Type-C port down there. So on this side of the receiver, you have 2 buttons, and the first one is your mono or your stereo button. And you have a little indicator light right here showing which one it's in. When it's not in stereo mode, it will not be lit up, and when you click it, if it's lit up, you're in stereo mode. And then the next button right here is your link or unlink button. If you were to hold this down for 3 seconds, it should unpair with the transmitter, as you can see there. And all I gotta do here is hold the transmitter link button, and it should link right back up, but it did switch to B. So the last thing on this side of the transmitter is you have this little port right here, and this is your 3.5 millimeter port. And this is where the cable to pretty much plug into whatever device you're using would be plugged into. So the last thing on the receiver is this clip right here, and you would use this clip to pretty much mount it onto your clothes. But you can also use this clip to mount it onto a camera bracket. If you have a fancier camera that has one of those brackets on top of it, this kind of just slides right in there. I don't have a camera like that, but I do have a phone mount that has one of those, and I'll pretty much throw an example in post of that. Okay, so one last thing I forgot to mention about the case before we move on. The transmitters and the receivers are actually magnetized in there, so if you were to pull them out and you slide them in, they kind of just slide into position, but they do not fall out of this case. I can sit here and shake it and they do not fall. So those magnets are actually pretty good. So you don't really have to worry about them falling out at all. So I guess now I will actually show you how to set this microphone up. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to set up this microphone, and it's pretty simple. This thing is pretty much plug and play. So what you want to do is grab a transmitter out of the case and then grab the receiver, and it should automatically connect just like that. As you can see right there, it's connected. And then if you're going to use a windscreen, all you got to do is there's some grooves on the top of this little transmitter. If I can get it to focus correctly, there you go, you can see it. And then if you take a look at the bottom of the windscreen, there's kind of matching grooves. So all you got to do is just insert this and then twist it a little bit, and it should lock into position. And as you can see, I'm pulling on it, it is not falling off. Okay, so now all you got to do is grab your receiver, and then you look for your little 3.5 millimeter port right here, and then you just grab whatever cable you're going to be using to connect to whatever device you're using. I did say before I was going to be using this cable right here, but this would actually not work properly with my phone. I did buy this adapter, but it just, when I actually connected it, it just did not work properly, so I can't use this version of it. So instead I could use this one right here, and then all I need is this right here to connect to my phone, which is a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, to the lightning connector. And then when I messed around with it, this seemed to work fine. And if you don't want to deal with all these adapters and stuff like that, you can also buy this cable right here, which is a TRX cable, and it is a 3.5 millimeter to lightning port. And I will leave a link for this down in the description. But other than that, once you have this all plugged in, it should work properly. Okay, so at this point, I guess we can plug everything in and test to see what this microphone sounds like. Okay, so here is what the Fifine M9 microphone sounds like. And yes, I'm wearing a different shirt because this is a couple days later from when I filmed those last clips. I just wanted to give myself some time in between to become properly familiar with this microphone and kind of test it out and to listen to it to see if I like what I hear, which I do a lot. This microphone sounds very crisp and clear, which is very surprising. I wasn't really expecting that at all. And I really like this microphone a lot. I'm actually going to be using it for a lot of my videos that are coming up for when I actually change out my GPU and stuff like that. And why am I in my basement? My son is actually upstairs playing his Nintendo Switch. You may be able to hear it in the background. I do not have the noise cancellation active at the moment, and I just didn't want to really interrupt him. So if you hear any background noises, that's it. I just kind of wanted to give a good example of what the raw audio sounds like. And now I'm actually going to go outside and touch grass and actually do a distance test. So let's get right to that. Okay, so now I'm going to do a distance test. I'm actually going to wander up to the top corner of my yard up there, which is about maybe 130 feet away from where I have the tripod set up. And hopefully I still get clean, crisp sound. I do have the noise cancellation on right now because it is pretty windy out. I do have the windscreen on and hopefully that's protecting from it. But there's a lot of noise out here, so hopefully this will be a good test for that as well. Okay, so here I am at the top corner of my yard, so hopefully you can see me okay. It is kind of windy up here, so hopefully the noise cancellation with the windscreen, this still actually sounds pretty good. Hopefully it's clear and crisp. And yeah, I should be able to get maybe 20 or 30 more feet out of this, but I really don't have any room to really test that, and I really didn't want to go anywhere. Like, I could have went to the park across the street. I just didn't want to look weird, kind of setting tripods up and running away from them. So hopefully this is a good example about how far away you can actually get from the receiver with the transmitters. So if you wanted to buy one of these microphones for yourself or somebody else, you can find this thing listed on Amazon, and as of recording this video, it's going for around $65, which isn't too bad. They also have this thing listed on their own website, which I'll leave all the links down in the description in case if you wanted to check those out. So other than that, that's going to be pretty much it. So that's going to be it for today's video, and I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please drop a like. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more content. And if you want to see another video I did for Fifine, it should be popping up here in a second. So other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.